Hey guys, how's it going? It's The Real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you with a Pokemon sales data video. We have so much base to go over with. Most of it's Charizard. We have an unlimited Charizard PSA 8, sold for $1,900. An unlimited Charizard PSA 7, sold for $1,700. Unlimited BGS 8, sold for $1,625. And another unlimited 8 PSA, sold for $2,625. That one's all at auction, so that's probably the truest out of the four. And we have a Squirtle First Edition PSA 9, sold for $1,120. Staryu First Edition PSA 9, sold for $123. Abra First Edition PSA 10, sold for $680. That is incredible. Record price point for Abra by a long shot. Drowsy First Edition PSA 10, sold for $405. All these are First Edition PSA 10. Ghastly sold for $460. A Vulpix sold for $495. Pidgey sold for $430. Oh, we had another Vulpix sold for $475. No, we had a Ponyta sold for $560. Sandshrew sold for $475. These are incredible. Squirtle First Edition PSA 10 sold for $3,150. We had a Charmander sold for $3,301. Zapdos First Edition PSA 8 sold for $1,825. I don't know how to judge that. I think that's a little undervalued. Little, just slightly. But if the last, PSA 9 sold for, less than $4,000, that's honestly fine. I wouldn't expect that to move up too much. Squirtle First Edition PSA 10 sold for $3,050. So we have a second one there. It was $100 less than the other one. Then a Mewtwo First Edition PSA 9 sold for $5,300. Charizard First Edition PSA 6 sold for $13,875. And a Japanese Charizard from base set, 96, PSA 4 sold for $420. Nice. With base set, this is something that SM Pratt just did a video saying that Pokemon has officially overtaken Magic as far as collectibles hobbies, and what they have is, I think, base set versus Alpha 9 and all that. And there's basically, you can find Pokemon cards in these grades easier than you can in Magic. Like, there's more common, but they're still worth more because there's just, Pokemon has just such a larger fan base, and so the fan base is willing to spend a lot more money on it. So moving on to where we got here? All right, Jungle Set. Flareon First Edition PSA 10 sold for $3,050. Vaporeon First Edition CGC 9. I got the CGC 9. Everything was a 9 except for the corners, which is an 8.5. And the corners were kind of rough. I would have given this card an 8. It was sold for $510, which makes sense. Even though it's CGC 9, I would have given an 8, and the 8 makes sense at $510 because I think the 9 is a $1,000 card. PSA. Yeah, Jungle, a lot of Vaporeon, I think, is very, very undervalued right now. If you can get a 9 for under $1,000, get it. Get it. Like, that's very, very undervalued. Even at $1,000, still undervalued. Fossil. We have a Ditto First Edition PSA 10, sold for $711. Lapras First Edition BGS 9.5. The only thing that was not a 9.5 was the corners, which got a 9. Still sold for $1,500. I think that's a little undervalued as well for a BGS 9.5 because the 10 just sold for $5K. So yeah, the 9.5 should probably sell for a little over $2K in my opinion. We have a Gym Challenge. All right, we'll go to Rocket first. Rocket, we had a Dark Slowbro First Edition PSA 9, sold for $223. Rainbow Energy First Edition PSA 9, sold for $173. And a Dark Dragonite, a big decrease here. First Edition PSA 9, sold for $810. I didn't take a good look at the card, so I don't know if it was like, oh, it was a really weak 9, and that's why it got like $300 less than other 9s we've been seeing. But anyway, moving on, we have a Dark Blastoise First Edition BGS 9. This is a weird one because it had a 8 for the edges, okay, 10 for the centering, 9.5 for the surface, and 9 for the corners. Now this 8 for the edges, this should be like a 6 for the edges because, yeah, a little bit of edge wear on most of it, but on the back side of the top, it was an indent. It was like, and it showed a little bit on the front as well. So I would have given it the entire card like a 7. With that being said, it still sold for $899. Moving on past that, we have a couple of the promos here. Or no, I'll go to Gym Challenge first. Gym Challenge, a bunch of Blaine's Arcanines. We had First Edition PSA 10, sold for $3,500 or best offer. Now the one at auction the other week sold for like $3,100. So this probably minimum $3,100 as well. Another Blaine's Arcanine First Edition PSA 7 sold for $375. And then a Blaine's Arcanine First Edition PSA 9 sold for $867. I've seen some of these similar to what has been happening with, I saw with Charizards like 8 months ago. The Blaine's Charizards, that the 6s and the 7s and the 8s and the raws, that should, like, the 7s are getting more than the 8s. Like, what? How does that make sense? Because the market is figuring out the hierarchy right now. It's trying to figure out where it values everything, and at the end of the day, everything's going to increase fucking in crazy amounts. I see that with the Blaine's Charizard. I see it with the Blaine's Arcanine right now. And it's not that these are the ones I'm just watching closely and like the other ones I'm ignoring. I'm watching everything, but these are the ones that have a lot of sales right now. So a lot is being sold, or a lot is being bought. I mean, you could make the argument that yes, there's more listings for these, but a lot of them right now are being bought, which is, you'll see that they're just really popular. Again, this is the first time that Arcanine is not only a rare, it is a holo. And I'll see what. Oh, you're not leaving yet. Okay. And it's a rare, and it's a holo, and it has 120 attack on it. Very, very historical card. Beautiful artwork. Moving on to Gym Heroes. We had Rocket Scyther, first edition PSA 9, sold for $347. Erica's Clefable, first edition PSA 10, sold for $670. This is a weird one, because Erica does not have a Clefable. Erica doesn't have a Dragonair either, but she has that one too. That's weird. But this Clefable is just really cool. It's not the first. You know, we had a Clefable in Jungle Set, pre-release and the first edition, but Erica's Clefable just looks so cool. Misty Seadra, first edition PSA 9, so for $200. Yeah, Gym Heroes is something that I think kind of gets there's beautiful artwork in it, and just things that you don't normally see, like Erica's Clefable and Dragonair. But it's just kind of gets the short end of the stick because Lieutenant Surge's Raichu is not. I think it might even be a rare, but it's not a holo, and it's very overshadowed by Gym Challenge because it has Blaine's Charizard. Moving on to Rocket, Dark Slowbro, first edition PSA. Oh, I already did Rocket. I'm sorry. Promos. We had a 2009 Victory Gold Medal promo, PSA 10, sold for $481. And we had, this kills me. We had a Gym Challenge Victory Medals from 2009. It was a set, third, second, and first place, all PSA 10, sold for $12.26. I sold mine for $700 like 2 months ago, and it has increased by about 80%. And I'm a little upset, a little salty about that, but I digress. My sale had to happen for this one to happen. So, Masaki promo had an Omastar PSA 8, sold for $500, well, technically $499, and that was listed and bought within 2 days. So that's something that Masaki promos are very, very rare. SM Pratt just mentioned in one of his videos, so look for a spike in these. I bought an entire 9 set for $5,500 like 2 weeks ago. That I think is very, very undervalued. They're very, very rare. They're hard to find. They're next to impossible to grade, and they're so cool. Unique artwork by Masaki, incredible. So we have Neogenesis, a bunch of these. Lugia first edition PSA 8, $2,900 or best offer. That probably sold for about $2,500. Lugia first edition PSA 9 sold for $5,000. Then another Lugia first edition PSA 9 sold for $5,450. So both of those are record price points. I keep telling you, Lugia is the Charizard of the second generation. This is the rookie Lugia card. This is something that will continue to increase exponentially. Someone has their Lugia first edition PSA 10 on for like 125 grand or best offer. If someone, I would not be surprised if that sold for $75,000, because the last one, PSA 10, sold for $50,000. I think that is very, very undervalued, considering there's only 41 of them. Only 41. So we had a T17 first edition. It was raw. I would have given it like a 3. Those creases in there everywhere. It sold for $153. Neogenesis, like, do not sell your Lugias. Do not. That is incredible, incredible artwork in there. So incredibly hard to grade. Out of the 41 10s that there are, maybe 30-something of them are probably true 10s because they have print lines out the asshole on that card. The whole Neogenesis set is so hard to grade. Anyway, guys, that is it for me. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. And Patreon. Patreon, shout out to Eli, my only Patreon member. Write me out. I love you all. Class dismissed.